A stew, not a melting pot. Like we're not a fusion of like cheese fondue that's all melted together and become one glob. We're a stew. We have a lot of wholesome characteristics that we all share.
Welcome to Aspect Ratio X. This is our new show about pop culture and the possibly social taboo. So I want to introduce you to our co-hosts, Frank and Michelle. So Michelle, tell us, why are you excited about being on the show?
I get to be social with my friends. What better way is that?
I agree completely. And Frankie, what about you?
Oh, I'm just super excited to share. I don't know, it just sounded fun. Just something new, another project, and talking to my friends, like Michelle.
I love talking to you guys, so I'm really excited that I can talk to you in front of all of these beautiful people who are interested in everything, in every single thing we have to say, probably. So let's get started. We're going to introduce our topic of today, which is, are you American enough? And basically, we thought of this topic because we've been watching a lot of commercials lately, the Honey Maid commercial, the recent Cherrios commercials, and America the Beautiful, and all of those have started pretty much uprisings on the internet because people are saying that these people don't represent America. So we're going to talk about who and what represents America and what the American dream is, how America has changed, and because this is FutureX, how this will affect the future of the country, and we're going to have fun. Anyway, so how about you, Frank? What do you think about these commercials? And basically, like, tell us a little bit more about yourself on all of this.
Well, I have to say, these commercials really touched my heart, too, because it's actually really fun to watch some of these commercials because you're watching it, and then you just go back, wait a minute, those were two guys, and they had a baby. That's my boys. Go. So I have to say, I was really pleased to see that. When they said wholesome, to me that means all-encompassing. So, I mean, to take every aspect that America is, I think is what makes people American. Not necessarily one individual person or one individual culture. So it's nice to see that companies are really starting to catch on to that more progressive attitude. So to see, the gay guys together, the lesbians together, the multi-race couples, multi-race gay couples, all of that, everything that is maybe taboo to some people, it's still a part of America, and to encompass that, I'm really happy to see that commercials are starting to make that more progressive.
Yeah. Also, I feel the same way. I'm excited to see, like, different versions of America, and I know it's not, I know it's controversial for some people, but I'm a firm believer in just knowing that not knowing about things doesn't mean that they don't exist. And I don't think you're going to get rid of your gay neighbor by, like, imagining he doesn't exist. Like, that's not how reality works. I mean, people need to be more open and honest about the world around them instead of just trying to hide from everything they don't understand or they are a part of, Michelle?
My husband and I are in the process of an adoption, and we have to fill out a form that we have to check what ethnicities we're open to, and for a huge amount of time, that was a huge challenge for me, because I'm going, like, you're going to make me choose these things? I'm multiracial, but my husband is white, and I never thought that I would be comfortable checking all sorts of different races, but in this day and age, that's where society is going, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's exciting to see these commercials where there's different sexual orientation, there's different race, there's different ethnicities, and that by putting it all together, we're still American. So that's exciting to see this future.
I guess for me, like I'm always interested in like, are we a salad bowl or are we a melting pot? Like, what do you guys think? I think we're more of a salad bowl. Like, I think that more people are coming together and forming like these, you know, blended cultures. But I think for a long time, like, Americans were very divided. Like, if it wasn't like Hispanic or Asian, but now the lines are being blurred, white or black, and sometimes it seems like everything does get white or black. But like, Americans have always been more diverse than that, and I think now we're only considering some of the issues like we wouldn't have considered before. Like, for instance, with the Redskins, like, everyone's like, oh, is the Redskins name racist or is it not racist? But the fact that we're asking that question after like being in America for hundreds of years and we're now asking that question tells you that something has changed, and I think we should respect that. What about you guys? Salad bowl or melting pot?
Salad bowl, definitely.
Salad bowl.
Definitely. So I was talking to Brian about before, I have time on my hands in the middle of the night and we don't have cable. So I watch a lot of reality television, which...
Oh, I thought you were going to say something else.
I watch a lot of science experiments. So, anyways, one of the shows I started watching was My Big Fat Gypsy Wedding, and prior to this whole show, like most Americans, I was like, okay, gypsies, like, they're uneducated, they're not honest people, and when I started watching the show, I really got a good insight into what Romneyan culture was, and how even though the girls wore way less clothing than I would, they were really socially moral. Like it was really surprising, and they only marry within their culture. Yeah. And I kind of respect that because their culture is continuing. You know, communities that do encourage like the traditions and everything, I think that that's a really good thing. It's like calling all of the tomatoes in your salad together, being like, tomatoes unite. Even other cultures, like I attended an Indian wedding of a friend of mine, and it was so amazing. Like, my husband and I were kind of the token white people. Like, there was a very small group of us compared to how many people were in attendance at the wedding. And I was just in awe of, like, the cultural knowledge that everyone had. Mm-hmm. Like, but it happens because they get together and they encourage this, like, cultural tradition. And I think for any community, whether it's gypsies or Jewish or Indian, like, that makes America stronger to come with such a rich, diverse cultural background.
That's why I disagree with the salad bowl theory.
Yeah, okay.
I think it's more of a stew.
A stew?
A stew, not a melting pot. Like, we're not a fusion of, like, cheese fondue that's all melted together and become one glob. We're a stew. We have a lot of wholesome characteristics that we all share, but at the end of the day, there's still potatoes, there's still meat, there's still carrots and peas and onions, but we're all mixing around in the same capitalistic... If that's it, capitalistic, that's not a word, but we'll go with it.
Capitalist.
We're learning things.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
In the same, you know, we're all mixing in the same economy, in the same job markets, in the same, you know, buying, financial markets, whatever you want to call it. We're still mixing in there, but we still hold true to our culture. So I see us more as a stew.
Yeah. I think that's a good point. So is a stew like a hot salad?
Or it could be a salad with a lot of dressing.
Yeah.
Dressing could kind of be like the unitedness.
No, I feel Frank's stew. I think that's a better thing. It goes with the vegetables, but like takes it to the next level where like it gives people the option to sort of break off into different things outside of like what they know. A question for you, Michelle. How do you feel about, as a person who is from like a biracial background, like how do you feel about cultural traditions? Do you like feel like you more relate to one side of your culture than another, or like how would you like preserve? I mean, this is for like all biracial people, because I have people who are biracial in my family, and they often like feel like they have to choose between like what culture and traditions they want to associate with.
So I guess I should explain my background. My dad is Chinese Hawaiian, and my mom is German French. And when I was growing up and I lived in California, I had friends that were Asian, I had friends that were Caucasian, and I don't think I really noticed that I was different or that I was lacking in any type of cultural background or traditions. But then when I got older, I went to Wisconsin for middle school and North Carolina for high school, and I was the token Asian. Like, seriously, there was one other girl in my graduating class who was Asian, and she was full Asian, so that was, like, different. And I started realizing that even though I'm biracial, I am culturally white. Like, I didn't grow up having this rich Asian cultural background. And when I went to college my freshman year, my suite mates were Asian. Like, I can't remember which country in Asia.
Yeah.
But I felt so disconnected from them.
Mm-hmm.
because I wasn't Asian enough.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
And part of me really grieves that, I guess, because I can't get it back. Even though I've tried to pick my grandfather's brain, like while my grandparents are alive,
Yeah.
there's still a huge part of me that looks back and goes, you know, I really wish I learned something because I don't know anything. I'm culturally white.
I don't know. Like, I think a good thing to talk about was, you know, I was talking to my husband about this. My husband, who is David on the other show, I don't know if most people know that. We didn't, like, come out and say, yeah, you know, we're married. Yeah. But, yeah, it's sort of like we talked about, like, when white became culture. And maybe that was the original idea of the melting pot. Like, European culture, pan-European culture is the melting pot. So, yeah, I don't know. Like, because, for instance, Frank, you are Italian background, and way back when, Italians weren't necessarily considered white. So
I never felt like I was part of a specific culture. It was more, for me, it was more family, and I guess that is a bit Italian in a way. But I'm half Italian, and then on my father's side, but on my mother's side, I have a little bit of Irish and a little bit of German, too. So I'm super passionate, and I can hold my liquor real well. But I, like, kind of gain from it all. But, I mean, mostly it's family. Family is really what is centered around my life. It's always, and that's probably part of the Italian culture, but I mean, we always have Sunday breakfast at my grandmother's house. Granted, I've missed it this Sunday, so I'm probably on the blacklist.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much it. Other than me, I'm right there with Michelle. I'm white.
Yeah. I think for the next question that would be great to ask everybody is, like, what do you think makes you the most American? I don't know. For me, being over in Korea last year, I feel like what made me the most American is that makes me more, a person from the United States, because we talked about just American. American means North America, South America, Central America. But what makes me a person from the United States is because I really believe in freedom and individuality, and living in a collective culture in Korea. It was sort of like, it was really hard for me to be that much a part of the group because, Frank went to high school with me. Like, we went to performing arts school, and everything was about standing out. Like, you sang in the cafeteria, like, you danced on tabletops, you threw a pie in somebody's face, anything to stand out. And so, yeah, it's sort of really different to, like, kind of go into a place where everybody's like, oh, I can't do that because they aren't doing that. And I can't go eat by myself because we don't eat by ourselves. Like, and that's not with everybody in Korea, but a large portion of the population believes in collectivism and believes in the community and community above self. And I totally believe in self above the community. And I kind of feel bad about that. But at the same time, like, I do try and do my part to change the world, but I think individuality is a really important part of who I am. All right. What about you, Frankie?
So what makes us feel like we're American?
What's the one thing that you can say is the most American thing about you?
The most American thing about me, I would have to say, is that no matter what culture I've ever associated with, I'm unique. And I've associated with a lot of cultures. And I'm gay, I'm Italian, I'm white, I've dabbled in black, I've dabbled in a lot of things. And but I mean, being all as rainbow as I am, no pun intended, or no, I did mean that. I'm not.
Don't take it back.
No, I'm in a little bit of everything, and I think that's what makes me feel like I'm most American, is that I'm unique in every culture that I participate in, and I try to learn it the best that I can, or at least respect it the best that I can, even if I can't completely understand it.
Yeah. Michelle, have you come up with that answer yet?
Yes. So I've been thinking about what makes me most American. I don't know if this characteristic is for one specific culture or just American in general, but I am really driven and I'm not afraid of hard work, and I feel like American, you're always striving for something. Like, you're not afraid of obstacles or getting your hands dirty to get the job done, and I think that kind of unites all of us together, is that we're striving for something more, and we're not afraid to put in the work for it.
All right.
Wow, I'm like tearing up.
I know.
Was that too deep? I can say something else.
No, that was beautiful.
That was perfect.
Don't change it.
I think that says a lot about Americans, and also a lot about humans. Like, when you think about, like, human history and, like, all of the things that we've had to go through, like wars and religions and everything else, all those different social issues that we had to go through. We've really come a long way, and I think we should give humans a pat on the back. Everybody, round of applause for humans.
Woo!
Holler.
Woo! Holler for humans. Holler for humans. So, yeah, I think that's a great way to end the show. Frankie, send us off.
Well, all I gotta say is, if you enjoyed this, and we know you did, you better like, you better subscribe, And one more thing, you better share with all your friends.
Like and subscribe and share. You've heard it from Frankie, the none and only Frankie, the one and only Michelle, the one and only Taryn of FutureX, of Aspect Ratio X. Yes, it's a geeky name, but we love it. So, see you guys next Friday. All right? Bye.
Next Friday, y'all. Peace.
Bye.
Welcome to the future this week. Today we're catching criminals with just DNA.
What you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Nobody knows.